First of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, or let me say that different, for allowing Carl and I, and Mr. Macklin, and Chrissy Patterson, and Cindy Theory to come tonight and share with you some of what's happening in University City. As you know, several years ago, I would say 78, 79 school year, no, 77, 78 school year, we embarked upon a year-long community engagement. We met twice a month, once during the week and one on the weekend, to have a conversation with our broader community about the direction that the school district needed to take. When I first came on board 14 years ago, even as the building principal, I would hear about the University City that used to be. And we really need to get back to where we used to be. And so we would take on little things, but we thought this was the time we really need to be aggressive. And so as a part of that community engagement, we took on, most school districts take on one issue. We took on 5. We took on the notion for academic achievement that we had to raise the bar as it relates to our students achieving. We had heard about the kids who couldn't, the kids in the middle, the kids at the top, and that we weren't meeting anybody's needs. And so we really wanted to look at what research says was best practices for academic reform. And so our whole decision-making process tied to that changed. If it was not tied to student outcomes, we pushed back on it. We stopped just taking the initiative of the month. And the other thing we realized that once we found something that was going to yield the results that we wanted, we had to stay focused on that. And so at the end of the day, we have the instructional core. We're in our 4th year of that reform effort. And instead of fixing kids to get different outcomes, we are changing teacher practice to get positive outcomes for student learning. And I'm going to come back to that. The other thing that came out of that was engaging our community partners. It felt as though the community thought we were not transparent with finances, we were not transparent with bond issues, we were not transparent with anything. And so we then decided that we would have a community voice on every decision that was made in our district. And so Chrissy's on our CSIP committee, and she's helping us carve out what University City looks like from here. And I'm going to get to that piece a little bit more too. The other thing we did as a part of that community piece, we always heard that we had not really honed in on the value that Washington University brings to the table. And so we solidified a 25-year partnership with WashU, just as Dr. Jordan was coming on board at Brittany Woods. And so Brittany Woods has gone from maybe 2 after-school activities to over a dozen. We focus on the whole child and their needs, as well as the needs of their family members. And so one of the things that's unique about Brittany's Community Schools Initiative is that there's the academic piece that's tied to it as well. Most community schools don't have that component. They have the wellness, the mental health, and all of that. But we also have the academic piece. And now we're ready to branch over to University High School. In fact, Mr. Macklin has already had his first conversation with Washington University as to what that might look like for UCHS. The other thing we took on, I'm saving the bond issue piece for last, was governance and administration. And that hit 2 entities. That hit our policies and our procedures, as well as where we were financially as a district. And so we took on the challenge of developing a long-range financial plan. And what that has led us to is what we call zero-based budgeting. When a position becomes available, we just don't automatically fill it. We look at the need, we look at the impact on students, and then we make our decisions from there. We have tried to the best that we can to not tax our community as much as possible. Look at other ways of meeting our needs as much as we possibly can. Doesn't always happen that way, but for the most part we try. The other thing we looked at was facility supports and instructional resources. That brought us to the technology piece and making sure that our students had the technology to help them be competitive and to prepare them to be viable what was the word we used last week? Tenacious students. And so I am pleased to say that we are about 99% smart board technology in every classroom in the district. That means the art classrooms and the music classrooms, not just the core curricular classrooms. We have cows, that's computers on wheels, in every building, to include Julia Goldstein, because if we're going to prepare our children for Common Core, Smarter Balance, and all the requirements of MSIP 5 and beyond, because our commissioner says our kids need to have 2 degrees. The diploma they get from high school, and then their post-high school diploma. Then lastly, we figured we had to have the facilities that were going to support all of these great things that we wanted for the Students University City. And not just because we wanted it for them, because they deserved to have it. And so at that time, we embarked upon a $53.6 million bond issue, of which you, the community members, helped support. This room is a testament to your confidence in our school district and to the quality work that was done. That was another thing we found, that the district had done really shoddy work in the past. So what did we do with those dollars? We built a new wing here at Brittany Woods for 6th grade, a new library and media center to meet DESE standards, as well as the technology to support that. We built a brand new Barber Joy, a brand new Pershing. We added on a cafeteria, a gym, new library space, and classrooms at Jackson Park. We added on a new cafeteria at Flynn, made a new kindergarten hub, which if you've not been over there, it is the cutest thing you've ever seen, and it is tailored to kindergarten learning. We also added a new library and some additional classroom space at Flynn. At the high school, if you graduate from the high school, what was the science wing is no longer the science wing. We have a state-of-the-art science labs over there. You can have lecture and lab, and we did a lot of renovations. We're not there yet. There's still more. As it relates to the academic achievement, our scores are going up. DESE actually commended the school district back on September 21st for the fact that you can now see the achievement levels rising. Historically, our district had not met the MSIP, that's the accreditation standards, for the middle school. They have the last 3 years. Nor for the high school. And the high school made the most significant gain in the English EOC than we have in a long time. And I believe 58% of the students scored in proficient and advanced. Huge jump. While we didn't make the Algebra 1 mark, we were so close we could taste it. But what it said was that we are doing what school districts are supposed to do. And Melissa will attest to this because she's a part of that Baldrige model. It's about continuous improvement. And really honing in on what research says is best practice in moving kids forward. And we are doing that. We still have a long way to go. But some of the things we have put in place, we are now an A+ school, which means that any kid who goes through A+, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder.
That's okay.
Who goes through the A+ program can get tuition to attend a junior college or technical school. We are also starting Project Lead the Way in the fall for engineering, and we're excited about that because that helps us to identify those career pathways, because the goal is to be college and career ready. So what does that mean that we want to do as an extension of that? We need to have facilities that will support the academic programming that we have in place for our kids. And so we are about to embark on a zero tax rate increase. I don't know why they call it increase, because it's zero. What that means is we have a bonding capacity right now of approximately $19.4 million that will help us do some of the additional work, because also out of that community engagement, Mr. Scheid and his department was charged to develop a long-range building and maintenance plan. We have very beautiful historic buildings, but if we don't maintain them, they won't help us maintain the academic programming that our students deserve. And so as a part of that, we're ready to take on that second phase of Prop U, making University City Schools a destination.